special Friday edition of Lake Fork Bass Fishing Top Baits Live, like we normally do every Thursday, but today coming at you on a Friday. And man, you know what? Sometimes things just ain't working. You need to make a change. And I need to make a change, and I might just quit what I've been doing. We'll break that down and what that means here in a little bit, but right now, let's just kick it off and say cheers, y'all. It's Lake Fork Top Baits Live. Let's get it. That is delicious. It's a Friday evening. You got to have one of them. We got it in the extra big cup, the old big cocktail cup. Do me a favor, as you guys join us tonight. If you enjoy these live streams that we do, hit that thumbs up. Let me know that you like it. Also, drop me a comment. Let me know who I'm talking to this evening. And for you guys that are smarter than me, which is probably all of y'all for being realistic, or at least most of you, hopefully, go ahead and share this thing, man. I don't know how to do it, but you guys do. Share it. Let's get it out there. Let's talk to as many people as we possibly can on a Friday afternoon edition of Top Baits Live. We have got the big to-doings, big events that we got to talk about, man. We've got such a big weekend 1 week from today. Such a big weekend. I'm super excited. I can't wait to see as many of you guys as possible. Please, 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 if at all possible, come out next weekend, support this event that benefits 22 Kill. It's going to be a bass fishing party like you ain't seen. We're going to have a big time from start to finish for 2.5 days, starting Friday evening, about 5:30, 6 o'clock, till we're done Sunday at noon. I guess that's only 2.5 days or two. I don't know how many days it is. I'm a fishing guy. I'm not a math major, folks. But from Friday at 5:30, 6 p.m. till Sunday at noon, we're going to have a daggone bass fishing party, and it's going to be absolute blast, and it's going to be for a great cause. And we want to see each and every one of you guys from the Your Lake Fork Guy Nation attend. We're going to break down all the happenings that's going to go on with that as well this evening. Before we get off into the baits or anything else, let's get some hellos and how you doings. Holy cow, to the gut. Rowdy Broomstick says 145 pounds for Jacob Wheeler an hour ago. Good Lord, counting every fish when you're on a smallmouth fishery that's on fire. Holy cow. I did not know he caught 145. That is absolutely insane. Hell, let's all pack our stuff and head north and go catch 140 pounds of smallmouth a day. Good grief, son. Say some hellos and how you doing. So the early risers, before we go any further, we got Scott Savage, Jesse Reyes, Rowdy Broomstick, Dusty Smith, C. Bach, Jay Bonner. What's up, Jay Bonner? W.M. Holland, Big John's Life, Justin Miner, Case and Gaby, Express Jack are among the early comers on an early Friday afternoon. John Denny's in the house. Billy Lawless, the Sideshow's in the house. I'm Sideshow Lawless himself. That's me. I just talked about myself in the third person. I've always known I was a little bit of a douchebag. Didn't realize I was quite that much of a douchebag. How's the mullet coming? Let's see. Let's kick it up a little bit. Let's pull it. Look, how we doing on the mullet? Is it looking good? It's getting there. It's just a little baby mullet, but we trying to get there week by week. Anyways, hope you guys are enjoying your Friday night. Let's talk about some baits. How are we fishing on Lake Fork? Man, I'll be honest, for me, it's been pretty much all offshore. Start to finish. Not even going shallow early anymore, just going straight to the old offshore structure. Points have still kind of been the best structure for me. Brush piles play. Brush piles are an important factor for me on days when it's calm. Of course, lately we've had enough wind that we haven't had to necessarily focus on the brush piles as much. We're just fishing a lot of points. We're graphing a lot of points. We're running to a lot of different areas. One thing that's happening right now is when you find a good school of fish, man, they're fired up and they'll bite when you find them grouped up. But they're not just everywhere you go out there. Like normally this time of year, pretty much all the structure has some fish on it, or most of it does. That's not really happening. You got to run a lot of points and use your electronics a whole bunch to find a good group of fish. Once you do find a good school of fish, they bite pretty good as long as you're throwing the right technique at them. Really, the Carolina rig has been the breadwinner in my boat for the most part over the last couple weeks, really. And we really focused in last week on throwing that ridge worm on a Texas rig and a Carolina rig, depending on what structure we were fishing. But that 10-inch ridge worm for 6-inch fishing has been a big deal for me. Been throwing it in plum bug, throwing it some in green pumpkin burst. Just color really hadn't been any one thing particular. Probably plum bug has been our best color day in, day out. But every day, you know, you kind of catch them on a different color. So don't get too wound up about the color. But really, this week and towards the later part of the last few days here, the flush is coming in. The flush, this bait right here, fluke style bait from 6 cents. We're Carolina rigging that sucker out there. Impact Shad, throwing that some too. Both of them seem to be working, but just natural colors, green type colors. But the fluke style baits, man, they're really working on the Carolina rig this week. They're biting that real good. They're 100% feeding on shad. In fact, you'll even see shad, some bigger, not huge gizzard shad, but like the normal gizzard shad that are like the length of your hand. You'll see those porpoising and running from bass over these schools. Whenever you graph a big school, you'll see them on that structure. Those shad bust out of the water when they really go to feeding. And when that's happening, dude, it's freaking on like Donkey Kong, and you can catch the crap out of them when you roll up on that situation if you're hitting that school right. But you got to use your electronics and pinpoint those schools and really keep your bait in the school, or you can be oh so close and oh so far away. It's important to be precise with getting your baits in that school right now, because these schools aren't just everywhere. They're not the hugest schools. Sometimes they're pretty big, but they're not the hugest schools at the time, and you really got to be precise on getting your bait in them. So Carolina rig's been the best bait offshore. We're also throwing that swim bait on that jig head. Might have it somewhere here handy where I can grab it. I got all my rods in here because my boat's getting some maintenance done on it today. But the half-ounce Divine underspin jig head with a Divine swim bait on it, and this is the biggest size, 4.5 or 5 inch, whatever it is, an electric shiner. That's been a killer, man. That's picking up what I would call bonus fish. Like, we'll catch them on the Carolina rig for the most part, but it's like that little swim bait on that underspin head picks some bonus fish up on a lot of spots on days when we're really getting them good and finding those schools. So that's a good bait to have tied on. And then the big Flutter Spoon. Big Flutter Spoon is also, I ain't even gonna try to grab it because it's buried under all them rods, but you guys know what a big Flutter Spoon looks like. And I'm using the biggest size that Joe Spates makes. It's been the best one. I've tried throwing the even bigger ones. They're not working as good for me. For me, the 7-inch Jumbo Joe Spates spoon that you can buy at Lake Fork Marina has been the best one. So you got underspin swim baits, Flutter Spoons, Carolina rigs. And there's been some guy, I know Lee's been posting about catching them on a jig. I personally haven't been catching them on a jig. I've been catching them on a Carolina rig. But I know there's some guys out there catching them on a big jig right now. I think Greg said something about it too on one of his posts. But definitely some big jig bite, 3/4 ounce jig bite going on. Lee's throwing the same jig I throw. He's throwing 3/4 ounce, 6 cents Divine hybrid jig. He's throwing it in green colors with sparkles and flakes, just green bases, green and brown bases. And he's throwing I think he's using a pocket crawl. I've been using a stroker crawl, but I don't think that makes that much difference. But I'm just not catching them on a jig. Probably because we're throwing the Carolina rig a lot more because we've had success with it. So that's there too. So there you go. There's your offshore baits. Everybody's fishing offshore right now on Lake Fork. It's an offshore party. You go drive around the lake. That's where all the boats are. Everybody's out off the bank. You go back in the creeks. Really ain't hardly anybody in there. I haven't been in there myself in several days. But honestly, with as many people that's starting to set up offshore and lake's fishing pretty good, starting to fish better, a lot of people getting out there. Lakes get a little crowded, and it fishes a little small when everybody goes to offshore fishing. Lake Fork can fish a little small. You start kind of rotating spots with guys, wait until they leave, then you go in, that type of deal. And so next week, I honestly will probably shift back and start going back into some shallow grass and focus on some of those residential fish that live their summertime up in that shallow grass. And when we do that, we'll have some more baits for you next week. Of course, we'll talk to you next Thursday and update you on what we're doing then, right before the Your Lake Fork Guide tournament. Now, speaking of that tournament, we need to break this down and go over everything that's going on, because we got so much happening at this tournament next weekend. It's not just a tournament. It's a Your Lake Fork Guide Nation, Fish Life Nation, dadgum shindig party, and we want all of y'all to be part of it and come have a good time with us. So we're going to do a seminar on Friday at 6 p.m. Registration is going to start Friday at 6 p.m. We're going to be out under the pavilion outside at Lake Fork Marina. We'll start the seminar. We'll do the seminar. During the seminar, we're actually going to do a roast. The guys kind of did a little bit of a roast of me when I wasn't there at a seminar a few weeks ago, and it was pretty funny. Hopefully you guys caught some of that, but it was pretty funny. But we're going to do a full-on. I'm going to get 4 or 5 or 6 guys that know me really well to get up there and basically trash me for a while. And so we're going to have fun with that. I'm sure there's going to be some drinks being mixed out there at that deal. It's going to be a really good time. That should be entertaining. We're also going to talk to the 22 kill guys during that seminar. So seminar, roast, talk to the 22 kill guys about what goes on at that organization. And that is a conversation that you guys are not going to want to miss. Because if you're out there and participating and supporting this event, it's the cause that we're working to benefit through this event, and they really are going to tell you some things that you're going to want to know about where your money's going that you're participating with this weekend, and it's going to make you feel real good about the money that you're putting into this event to benefit this organization. So looking forward to all that. As soon as that's over, we got a concert. We've got this girl named Billy Joe Jones. Billy Joe Music is where you can find her. BillyJoeMusic.com, Billy Joe Music on Facebook, Instagram, all that stuff. Super talented. I mean, like world-class vocalist, country music singer. She's going to play an acoustic show. Her and her guitar player are going to be there. They're going to play an acoustic show right there out in the Lake Fork Marina facility. We're going to set them up a little stage and have a free concert. It's going to be free to everybody. That's going to go on during the remainder of registration till about 9 o'clock. Somewhere in there is when she's going to play till. We're going to have a great time. She's doing this voluntarily. It's free. She's not charging us anything. So big shout out to Billy Joe for coming out and doing this concert for us for free. She's become her and her husband Justin have become good friends of mine over the last couple of years as I've gotten to know them better. And they live in Grand Saline. They're just good people. And so we're going to have a great time with that. That's just registration, folks. Like, we're just getting into the event at that point. The next day, of course, will be the open team tournament. It's $100 entry per team, $20 for big bass, so $120 to get you all in, all done. It's open to absolutely anybody. So open team tournament, that's going to go from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. is going to be lines in. Weigh-in line closes at 4:30. It's on the flyers that we've been posting on Facebook. But we'll have the weigh-in for that. We will also have a plethora of auction items from thermal hog hunts, guided fishing trips with various fishing guides from DFW and Lake Fork and all that. We've got custom rods, coolers, some really cool like wall hanging stuff, like these metalwork stuff, that like American flag metalwork, fishing metalwork stuff. We're going to auction all this stuff off. We got a ton of stuff to auction off. So there's no telling what you can get for a great deal at this thing. And all that money is all going to 22 Kill. So it's going to be an awesome thing. We're also going to have the Your Lake Fork Guide Invitational Tournament on Sunday. Okay, there's going to be a couple handfuls of guys that you can bid on to be your partner, including myself, including Cody Mays, including David Ozio, Zach Watts, Vic Pearsall. There's a new guy that's about to start guiding on Fork that's a tournament hammer. That's a buddy of mine named Cord Hudkins. He's going to be there as well. He's going to be one of the guys you can sign up to be his partner. It's going to be an awesome, fun time on Sunday, and you have to buy your partner for Sunday. You have to purchase your partner, pick who you want and purchase him on Saturday at the auction. So that's going to be a great time as well. Another way to raise money, and 100% of that money is going to 22 Kill as well. So just so many ways to get involved in this event. So much for you guys to enjoy, something for everybody. One thing we do need from you guys, I don't know exactly how many, but 22 Kill, obviously, so what 22 Kill works with veterans and first responders, and they work in the mental health field, basically, and they really work to try and prevent suicide. So some of these veterans that these guys come into contact with, man, you know, the honest to goodness truth is mentally they're hurting, and they're struggling, and they're having a hard time moving on and getting along and being productive in life because of all the mental trials that they have from their time in service. So it's really important that we do what we can to help these guys. And one way that they do things is they do programs like hunts and motorcycle rides and fishing events. Well, they're going to bring some veterans out to this tournament. So if there's anybody that's wanting to fish this tournament and you're fishing solo, we need volunteers to allow our veterans that 22 Kill works with to be your partner, basically. We need boaters to take on these veterans and have them be your partner for the event. So if anybody is fishing the event and you don't have a partner and you would like to take a veteran out, please message us. You can hit us up at yourlakeforkguide.com and email us. You can text us at 903-519-1542. That number is also on yourlakeforkguide.com. So anybody that will do that, please message us. Let's get that set up. Let's get your information. Let's get your registration information noted that you're going to take a veteran out with you as your partner. I'm not sure how many of those guys we need. I've got to find that out from the 22 Kill guys, but we do need a few. We need several. So if you can do that, please volunteer for that and help us out there. So just Holy cow. If you can't tell, we got a lot going down next weekend. It's going to be a great time, and I can't wait. I can't wait. It's going to be so much fun. So, yeah. I need a change, and I might quit. We're about to get into it. First, I want to answer some comments before we move on to the next topic. W.M. Holland says, man, I'm sorry to hear about your wife. Hope she gets better soon. My wife that's actually, you must have came across an old video because my wife did get cancer like 4 years ago, maybe 5 years ago. Almost 5 years ago, 4.5 years ago when she got cancer. She's been cancer-free for years now, brother. She did beat it. Thank you very much for those well wishes. She did beat it and has been healthy with no signs of cancer coming back for several years now. So we are all good on that front. She beat cancer. She got rid of cancer. She also, unfortunately, got rid of me, too, here recently within the last year. So me and my wife are no longer together. But, yeah, she's doing good. Obviously, I'm glad that worked out that way. Of course, she's mother of my children. So, Anthony Carball says, cool meeting me in Bassmaster Man. It's cool meeting you, brother. Jay Bonner says he'll take a vet on his boat. That's awesome, dude. Thank you so much, Jay. Please text me or message me on that number or yourlakefortguide.com. Email me. That'd be awesome. Oh, Big John's wife is sick in the hospital. Holy cow, I thought you were talking about my ex-wife. Big John, man, I'm sorry to hear about your wife, brother. Man, hope everything works out good. Courtney Whitecott, what's going on? Big John says Billy Joe Jones is great. She is great. She's awesome. Texas Lady Angler needs to make a celebrity appearance. Yeah, hell yeah, you do. Y'all better be there, Brittany. Bring your old man. Y'all come up there. I ain't seen y'all in a while. Y'all need to come back up there, man. It'll be a good time. Free ranch water. We might be... I can't promise you free ranch water yet, but we might be working on a little dirty water to have for the folks participating. I may be trying to work some back channels on that. Andrew Alphabet says he got his hands on a 6-cent spoon. That's awesome. Do I recommend the ridge worm on a Carolina rig? Yeah, absolutely. We've been catching a bunch of fish on that ridge worm on a Carolina rig. Absolutely. Absolutely. Jay Bonner says he got to go get ready for another night trip. Well, good luck, man. I will. Thank you. Thank you very much. Awesome. Good stuff. Appreciate you, Jay. Appreciate you volunteering to take a vet. And y'all go catch him up on your night trip tonight, buddy. So, I need to change. I need to put a lipper in my mouth too before I talk about this. I might just have to quit. I don't know. What y'all think? Should I quit? I'm not talking about quitting dipping. Just so y'all, like, that's not happening. Just so y'all know. I don't think I could ever quit that. What in the Alabama clickbait is going on here? I'm about to tell you what's going on. It might kind of be. It's not really clickbait. Any surface schooling activity on Fork? If not, reckon when that might start? Man, you know, I don't see largemouth bass school very often on Fork anymore, and I haven't seen any. The closest you'll see is just like the shad, the gizzard shad, skipping across the surface, kind of porpoising across the surface. You'll see that, and the bass are right under them chasing them. But you know, usually when you see schooling activity on Fork these days, a lot of times it's sand bass, and if it is largemouth, it's usually smaller ones. Back in the day, Fork used to have giants, like 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pounder schooling. It was crazy once upon a time with the schooling that went on out there. For whatever reason, they don't do it as much as they used to. I'm not real sure why, but you really don't see a whole lot of those bigger bass in Lake Fork schooling anymore. You just don't. So, what am I talking about? What am I talking about when I say I may need to quit? Well, if you think it's quitting fishing, 100% it's not. Like, y'all that know me know that that's never, ever happening. Like, I'm not quitting fishing no matter what. But, man, I've been making content for, I don't know, 4.5 years now. You know, where I'm really making content, multiple videos a week and all that. And we make a huge volume of content. When I'm really doing everything that I do, you know, at max capacity, it's a bunch of content on you know, 3 or 4 different platforms. And, man, it's just not working like it used to. I've tried to change it up this year and give, because I figured, you know, we've been doing the same kind of content for 4 years. Maybe we need to give you guys something different to watch, and we've done more tournament-oriented stuff. And at first it went over like super well, like you guys really seem to like it, and I enjoyed covering the tournaments and breaking them down, and it went really well. And then it, like, we did the classic, and like nobody watched the classic video. Like, the classic videos that I did are literally the least viewed videos that I've ever made. And I felt like they were really good videos. I don't know why they didn't get watched. I felt like it was good content. I was interested in it. But I don't know, man. I'm kind of thinking that maybe we either need to go back to how we used to make content, where we're fishing on public water, a lot of times Lake Fork, sometimes other lakes, but around here every week, and we're breaking down techniques in depth. Or maybe we just, it seems like a lot of stuff on YouTube is like a lot of audio content does better than the video content. Like, it's a video, but it's like this. Like, this does better than some of the day on the water, like the fishing video stuff does. And we could still do fishing video content in shorter form on other platforms, on Facebook, on TikTok, on Instagram, and just do more of this type of content, audio content on YouTube, because it really seems like a lot of people are consuming that type of content on YouTube these days. I really don't know what to do. I'm kind of looking for you guys' input here, because I gotta quit doing what I'm doing, because obviously it's not, I mean, the views are declining rapidly for me on YouTube. And YouTube's always been my main source of marketing. And, you know, we sell our app subscriptions, and I get money for selling baits for 6 cents. So we got to figure out how to get it back. And the only way to figure that out is to figure out what it is that you guys want to see as an audience. So I would love in the comments to get some feedback on what type of content, video ideas. Let me know what you guys want, because we've always wanted to make the type of content you guys want, within reason. You know, like, the bottom line is, at the end of the day, I'm kind of a hard-headed dude. I'm gonna make the content I want to make, whether it does any good or not. If I would have wanted to make content to get clicks a long time ago, I could have, but I never wanted to do that. I wanted it to be content that I enjoyed making. Chicken fried steak. That's a great handle right there, chicken fried steak. I love me some chicken fried steak. 40 peeps, only 11 thumbs up. Mash all up on that like button, folks. That's what I'm talking about. Smash that like button. Tick that subscribe, too, while you're there. City Creek Freak in the house. Andy Alphabet says, maybe views were low on Classic for you because a lot of y'all were there live in person. Maybe. Maybe so. Maybe so. Anthony Carbotol says, I think what fishing videos miss is explaining. Just watching fishing gets old. I want to get better by watching you and applying it on the lake, which maybe it is. Maybe that's why, you know, the talking in videos where we're discussing things and baits and techniques and breaking stuff down, maybe they do better because of that. I appreciate that. Rowdy Brimstick says, by the time my coverage came out, so I was just too slow. Basically, my classic coverage didn't play because I was too slow. Got it. That makes a lot of sense, actually. Well, maybe that's it. Well, speaking of fishing tips and questions, you guys drop those in here as well. W.M. Holland says he likes the technique videos, the Guys Network, the in-depth breakdowns. Yeah, we haven't done a lot of those this year. We need to get back to doing more of those. Get back to doing more of those. David G. liked the classic covers. I appreciate it, brother. Yeah, I thought we did a pretty good job on it. I guess I didn't realize how many guys were covering the classic. It makes sense. I mean, everybody's making YouTube videos now, so it makes sense. Need more cowbell. Perfect. Thanks for your valuable input as always, Z-Dub. We need more cowbell. But we do got to quit doing what we're doing. We got to figure it out because, I mean, we can't just, the reality is there's a lot invested in the content that we make. There's time, and time is money. That's a day that I could be booking a guide trip and making a pretty substantial amount of money that I give up every week. We've got a lot of money in equipment. I spend a lot of time, a lot of hours at the house making that content, and I love doing it. But it needs to pay off. At the end of the day, this is a business, and it's got to pay off. For me to do it at the level that I do it, the volume of content that we put out, it has to pay off. I'll always make some type of content because I enjoy doing it. I'm passionate about the subject and all that. But for me to do it the way I do it, at the volume I do, it needs to pay. Rowdy Broomstick says, you would do really good at interviewing pros out on the water. Well, email Bass and tell them you want them to add me to their... I'd happily go work for Bassmaster on their tournament trail interviewing pros. That would be freaking awesome. That'd be a cool job. Because Lord knows I ain't good enough to make it on that tour. But that would be really cool just to get to spend time at those tournaments and talk to those guys and break it down and learn. Because I always learn when I'm on the lakes those guys are on. It's really interesting. Less pros and more Joes, all right? I think what we're going to do is get back to what we used to do in the beginning. And it's, man, it's so, it's been we kind of got away from this a while back now, where I go out on the water with other fishing guides from Lake Fork and dudes from around Lake Fork and maybe some pros every once in a while or whatever. But I used to do that a lot, where I went out with other guys. And I think we need to get back to that. I think you guys would enjoy that. Y'all let me know if you would or you wouldn't. Ultimately, you're the judge. But we used to take other guides out, fish for a day with them. And during that day, at some point, we sit down and break down a certain technique or a topic where they go in depth. And that way you guys get different guides' points of views on different techniques. And I think that's something we need to get back to. We need to just go back to where we came from a little bit on that deal. So, introduce a liberal to fishing. I don't want to spend 8 hours in a boat with a liberal, bro. Like, I did it once. Like, I had one guide customer that was a liberal. They never came back. I can assure you. I don't want to spend 8 hours in a boat with a liberal. Big John says he likes the podcast. Nice. And the local public water fishing. Good. We need to get back to that. Yeah, so it sounds like that's what I'm hearing from a lot of you guys in the comments right now is y'all want to see more of the local area, public water fishing, bring the other guides on, do more of the in-depth technique videos like we used to. So. W.M. Holland likes the ones with me and Heath Taylor because we get right to the point and catch them. We do. That sucker's good. He catches them. Anthony Carby Hall says, how do you prevent customers from marking your spots? You don't. I mean, once you're there, they're going to know where you are anyway once you take them there. I mean, most guys can remember that stuff. So... "19 states doing a forensic audit." Now, listen, I'm not going to get into politics right now. I'm not going to get into politics tonight. What's up, Brian White? Hope you're doing well, buddy. It's been a long time. Justin Figueroa really likes the in-depth technique videos. He said those are on repeat for you. That's awesome. Great. Then here's Zach. Zach says more bikinis and less mogas. Mogas is the term we came up with for Zach because he had to wear male yoga pants as a punishment for losing to me at fishing one day. W. Hollis says, they stole it. Stop it. You're not baiting me into 10 seconds of little tears today. We're not doing that today. I'm in a good mood. It's Friday. I ain't got no job. I ain't got to do. You're not going to put me in a bad mood by making me talk about liberal politics. You're not going to do it, boys. Has anybody ever started marking a paper map while in your boat? No, I've never had that happen. I've had guys pull their phone out, and I kind of figured what they were doing, but I don't care. You know, it is what it is. So what you're saying is follow you around all day, if you can. Like, I don't check up, dog, and I run through some timber sometimes that would make you pucker. So, I mean, if you can keep up, you can try to follow me if you want to. No, don't follow me around. I mean, I do want to fish the areas with my customers without being interfered with. But, yeah, the guys that get in my boat, they want to mark a waypoint on their phone or something, I don't ever say anything about it. Bikinis and Billy singing the thong song. Maybe make another music video. That sounds like a fun idea. We do need to make another music video. That was a lot of fun. Old Town Road. I couldn't bring myself to do one to WAP, which was this year's most popular song. We do need to do another music video. What's the date for the event? It's a week from today, July 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. July 2nd, I'm not going to go through it in detail because we did that earlier in the video. You can watch it back. It's pretty close to the beginning. After we go off live, you'll be able to watch it back and hear all that information. But July 2nd registration, and a concert, and a seminar, and a roast. Just a lot going on that night. Have a party. Saturday is the open team tournament, live auction, and then Sunday is the invitational tournament where you can buy your partners for Sunday's tournament, including me and other guides and everybody that we've got involved in that. So, July 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. And really all you got to do, you can go to my Facebook or Instagram page at Your Lake Fork Guide on either, and you can see we posted a banner, a picture that has like a poster or whatever, has all the information of the tournament on it. Brian Anderson kind of going the other way. He says, expand your market, get out of state and travel, guide new lakes, better cameras, more in-depth details of other lakes. I like that on the filming aspect. The problem with going out and guiding on other lakes is I don't want to go guide on lakes that I don't know extremely well. If I'm going to guide you on a lake and I'm going to ask you to pay money to fish with me, it needs to be a lake that I have a lot of experience on, in my opinion. From an integrity standpoint, if you're going to pay me to fish with you, I feel like I need to offer you an expansive amount of knowledge on that water body and how those fish behave there. Whether we catch them or we don't, we can still learn that way, you know. A lot of guys like the in-depth technique videos, huh? Well, I can tell you guys, Monday we've got an updated version of the tracking survey that's going on at Lake Fork that Texas Parks and Wildlife is doing. We've kind of got the year wrap up from the spring movement. We're going to talk about what the fish did in spring, where they moved. Texas Parks and Wildlife has got all kinds of, they've got several fish with trackers in there, and they've been tracking them every 2 weeks. They've been going to Lake Fork and tracking their movements and seeing where they are. So we're going to do kind of the wrap up and discuss where those fish move throughout the year for a full year, especially where they move throughout the springtime as they track them through spring and their spawning cycles, and how far did they travel to spawn? Did they not travel far to spawn? We're going to break all that down. And then we've got some new fish that are tagged that we've gathered from offshore areas that we're starting to track now. We're just starting to track those now. We just got a few, but they're going to do some more throughout the year. So we got that video coming up on Monday that should be very informative about fish movements on Lake Fork. That's coming Monday. Wednesday, we're going to do a video that's really going to be about this tournament, but we're going to be fishing. And actually, Billy Joe Jones, the lady who's doing our concert, she loves fishing too. So me and her are going fishing, and we're going to film that video Monday morning. And that video is going to come out Wednesday of me and her fishing, and of course previewing the tournament that we've got coming up starting Friday. Do more 18-hour live streams in brown water, bro. That hurt so bad. Like, that hurt so bad. I sat on a live stream on Facebook and drank whiskey for 10 hours. It just wasn't planned. We just started out, and then I was like, well, you guys are all still here, and we kept getting more people on live stream. I'm like, as long as y'all stay, I'll stay. 10 hours later, I finally gave up, and you guys won. Like, y'all beat me. Turns out I couldn't outlast the entire Your Lake Fork Guide Nation that night. Do you think the fishing reports from Texas Parks and Wildlife are any good or accurate? I think they're very generic and they're not very accurate. I mean, they're not very detailed for sure. They're just kind of generic stuff. Am I talking about the first weekend in July? Yes, like a week from today. July 2nd, July 3rd, July 4th. Yes, sir. Well, boys, it's Friday night. We've talked about baits. We've talked about our event coming up for 22 Kill. It's going to be an awesome freaking time this weekend. You'll hear more about that throughout this week. We also talked about what I need to quit and what I need to change. We've got one question right here. Let's see if we can answer one more fishing tip question. Tips for a small reservoir in extreme heat, usually around 100 plus degrees here. The tips for it is when those water temps are going to get extremely hot in a small reservoir, they're going to get even hotter than they do in a big lake, obviously. The more extremely hot it gets, those fish are going to have to group up. They're all going to be looking for the most oxygenated and cool water they can. The bait fish are going to look for it. The bass are going to look for it as well. So you're going to have a higher percentage of your lake that's basically dead water with virtually no fish in it. So you're going to have to do some searching. It's likely going to be offshore. They're likely going to suspend. If that lake gets a thermocline in it, the warmer that water gets in the smaller reservoir, that thermocline is going to be even shallower than it would in a bigger reservoir. So a lot of fish might suspend and start schooling in a small lake when it gets that hot. But one thing's for sure, wherever they are, there's going to be a whole bunch of them doing the same thing when the weather gets that extreme. So you really got to hunt them down and find them. And once you find them, be ready to milk that area. There's going to be a bunch of them together when you do find them. Be looking for schooling activity. Look for offshore structure in the depth just above the thermocline and focus on that stuff. It's somebody said, let me find you a phone just for live stream. I'm actually hopefully going to solve that this weekend. I'm going to get a phone that I don't even have turned on as a telephone, and that way I won't break it. And I'm just going to use it for live streaming. I'm going to keep it at the house and download the right apps on it and just use it for live streaming. So we're working on that too. We are the lowest budget, actually live. That would make you guys the low ballers. All my low ballers unite. Y'all all come see us next Friday, man. It's going to be a great time. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Come hang out with us at Lake Fork Marina and let's have a dadgum ball and celebrate this nation on the 4th of July weekend in an awesome, amazing way by putting together an event that's going to benefit so many veterans and first responders, which is something I think we can all get behind on 4th of July weekend. It's an absolute honor to get to do what I do. It's an absolute honor to get to work with 22 Kill, and I couldn't do any of it without all of you. And that's why tonight I really wanted to break down and see what kind of content you guys want to see. We need to figure out a way to get this content going in the right direction that you guys will enjoy and get the most out of. So I appreciate y'all's feedback so very much. And just, man, thank y'all for everything you've done for me and you continue to do. We'll see you next time right here on your Lake Fork Guide.